All right, Bert, let's get into it. Caitlin Clark season is over. One of the
Yep.
best seasons in WNBA history. The problem is this black cloud has been cast over what I think has been a fuck of a season.
Hmm.
The greatest season in WNBA history, not only for its growth, but the players. I think the talent pool of players, especially with the rookie class, has never been better, or at least the attention hasn't been on it as good. But now you have this giant shit stain on the pants of the WNBA thanks to its racist fans. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever were eliminated by the Connecticut Sun the other day. But the story really wasn't the game, and I thought it was a really good game. The story was this lady who had band nails with these, I guess, like, I don't know, fake acrylic, like these cartoonishly long nails
Hmm.
aimed at Dejanay Carrington, a player from the Connecticut Sun, someone who's been kind of vocal, a player in game one who had poked Caitlin Clark in the eye. People thought it was intentional, but if you watch it, it wasn't intentional. So, of course, all season, the shadow of racism has been cast with Caitlin Clark. It's been associated with her. But obviously, that's not her fault. Nobody's saying she's a kid. She's not responsible for the actions of grown adults. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But what I will say to all the people who are on TV now, to all the people who are, oh my God, this is terrible. This is where I'm going to get myself in trouble a little bit because I
Yeah.
have two distinct reactions. There's a difference between the people who are blatantly racist, because there's three groups of WNBA fans now. There's the old fans like Dwayne Marcus and Martin and Mike Hughes, and Mike Hughes covers the sky and things like that. There's a distinct difference between the old WNBA fans and then the new fans like myself, who are always casual viewers, but now we're really tuned in. And then there are the bandwagon people who are attaching themselves to what they think Caitlin Clark represents for them. Does that make sense?
It
They're not.
does.
They're not like it's not Caitlin Clark fans, or not all of them at least. It's the ones who need a reason
Yeah.
to camouflage racism. This is what I see all time. But what I'm not going to do is blame Caitlin Clark, which I don't think anybody is. But I'm also not just going to blame Indiana or Caitlin Clark fans. Racism, I don't know if you know this, Bert, and I don't know if I'm breaking any news here, but, and this is where I'm going to get myself in trouble,
Yeah.
but, Bert, racism exists in sports.
Holy shit.
The WNBA isn't the only place where racism exists. So, the WNBA and its sports media covering the WNBA, rightfully so, are attacking these Indiana Fever quote unquote fans or these Caitlin Clark quote unquote fans. But you should keep in mind that this isn't new phenomenon. It's just new phenomenon to you because you're not used to notoriety, right? You've waddled in obscurity for so long. And my problem with the coverage of it is they're making it sound like this is just a unique situation to them. Go ask Jason Sehorn, because social media didn't exist then. Go ask Jason Sehorn, as the only white cornerback in what seems like NFL history. Ask him what he had to deal with in the late 90s and early 2000s. Go back before our time and watch a lot of this information about Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and the players in the NBA who had to walk into TD Garden through a secret entrance, all the black Lakers players that couldn't even go through the normal means that normal players go through. So I want to be sensitive and say, because I'm a troll. All right. There's a difference between trolling and racism. You
Yeah.
go on our social media, I have a blast. Trust me, Bert, nobody loves dividing people more than me. I do it every day. I take great pleasure in it. Okay. So, but there's a difference between what I'm doing and what people in the stands are doing or what people are brazen enough to do in public. And so Caitlin Clark rightfully said something against it, but then that's not good enough. People want her to do more. They wanted her to do it a month ago, 3 months ago, a year ago. I'm sitting there thinking it's not. She's a kid. It's not her responsibility to do that.
No.
And so she continues to not ask for any of this. And again, I like to have fun with the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, WNBA, new fan, old fan, mostly to get on Dwayne Marcus's nerves. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean like Alyssa Thomas needs to stop blaming racism on all Caitlin Clark fans or Caitlin Clark herself. That's where the reverse racism is coming in, right? Like you talk about inclusivity and, wanting everything to be equal, but you guys aren't really treating Caitlin Clark with that respect either. So, like, I get it's happening to black players from the fan base, but it's also happening to her too. Everybody's doing it. I do this when we have the incidences with white police and black people, where it's great that all these black people are standing up to the police or going on TV and speaking out against it. It's not going to change anything until police officers start doing it for themselves. So I feel the same way about this. There needs to be black players that are saying, nah, like maybe if you treated Caitlin Clark with a little bit more respect instead of this antagonizing thing, because ironically, Caitlin Clark is the reason people are paying attention. And so you can't have it both ways. And I think it's just, this is where the jealousy narrative comes in. It's like you're crying and complaining about it when she's the reason people are paying attention in the first place. Go ahead. If you think the ratings, she had 2.5 million people watch her last game against the Sun. If you think the next game that is played in the semifinals is going to get half of that, then you're sadly mistaken. There needs to be a unified front against all racism. Caitlin Clark fan base and Angel Reese and the black fan base needs to come together and knock this shit off, because it is ruining what should be the greatest time for WNBA. So I know that was a long-winded thing, but I felt like it was important, and I just wanted to get your thoughts if you had any on that.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it perfectly at the start, right? And it's she brought all this new fandom, but unfortunately, she can't control the type of fan that she is attracting, and the reality is some of them are racist. It's not fair to blame it all on her. She didn't go out there and say, "Hey, if you're a racist, come watch my basketball games." No.
Right, yeah.
I mean, there is, she has brought so much viewership, and there's been so much drama around the race thing. And particularly, obviously her fans going back and forth between Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and then, it gets brought up again. However, what we saw, and look, that's really honestly just back and forth at two fantastic players. And we've talked about it before, and you've gone back at Dwayne Marcus before, two great players doing great things in their own right. And they just happen to be one's white, one's black. It is what it is. But what we are seeing and have just saw, and just outlandishly in the stands, the woman you described this as band nails, basically doing everything but blackface in the crowd, which is unacceptable and ridiculous. And there are people out there claiming, well, she's allowed to. It's free speech. It's like, it's one thing to have free speech and say, hey, I think she intentionally poked her in the eye. To go ahead and mimic someone with fake nails, fake eyelashes, she knew what she was doing, and it's completely unacceptable. It's racist. I mean, to your point too, like they're now DMing and messaging, and this is nothing new. This happens in all sports, but it's now ever more apparent in the WNBA, and a lot of people are blaming Caitlin Clark for this. My thing is, you can't put it all on her. Like I said before, she's not saying, hey, if you're racist, come watch me. I understand that with more viewership, this comes with it, but it can't just be completely on her shoulders to denounce it. It's got to be united front, like you said. It's got to be from the team. It's got to be from the league. It's got to be from everybody. And you would think, Jerm, we're at a point in society where it goes without saying, where we don't have to make these type of announcements. I mean, how many times have we talked about fans running their mouth, not even at race-related things, just talking shit on the sidelines, and players drawing back at them, and who's right, who's wrong, who's Ron Artest? These things will go on and on and on until fans learn to just shut the fuck up. You're allowed to have an opinion, but you can't get mad, and there are repercussions for that opinion for you doing things and saying things out in public, like anything else. So in this situation, it sucks. It really does. The league deserves better than these trash ass fans. And I'm not saying all the fans, just the particular racist fans like this woman was, to come out and give not only the league a bad rap, their fans a bad rap, Caitlin Clark a bad rap, and also the team. Like if you're going to go out and support a team, there are other ways to do it. I mean, it's one thing if you and like a lot of MLB fans used to do, and they used to troll players with signs saying like, "Oh, so and so put ketchup on his hot dog." That I think is funny, and you're still getting the point across that you don't like this person. And I'm not saying it all has to be PG, but there's a right way to do it, and there's a wrong way to do it, and this is wrong. And it's doing nothing but hurting the sport 100%.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So, like I said, it's not a new phenomenon. Like, go ask the outfielders that had to sit out Fenway. You know what I mean? Kyrie
Mm.
Irving literally just had to deal with it in Boston, right? Like, so I wanted to be sensitive and say,
I mean, Wayne Simmons had a banana thrown at him on the ice when he was leaving the ice. I think it was like after he was with Philly and went to Toronto, someone threw a banana at him as he was leaving the ice. Like, this is insane.
There you go in WNBA. You wanted to be part of the big dogs. You wanted to be on the big stage. This is part of it. Unfortunately, especially when you have a white player and a black player at the levels of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, it's kind of going to happen. The best thing you can do is just be unified in it. So, Angel Reese has a podcast now. Go out there and talk shit. Don't let these fans take over the game. Caitlin Clark said something today. Great. Good for her. I get you don't want to upset your political connects either, but the best thing honestly, the best thing anybody can do is ignore it. Honestly, that's, to me, things like this, when the leagues or the players let sports media, let the dopes like me and you get on here and talk about it. But when the players and them get in their press conferences and kind of complain about it, or what the perception of complaining about it is, what that does is get people to do it more. The players need to not give it.
Yeah, but you know what? The media is going to perpetuate that too. They're going to ask about it. They're going to like they did with Caitlin, ask about your response, and she said it very nicely. I mean, I can't blame. You can't sit here and I'm not saying you are, but you know, right. The players are still human. They're going to feel a certain way, and particularly, Jerm, you know this. A lot of times when people are messaging you hateful things, it's not just calling you bad names; it's threatening you and everything else. And when you're on the road, or even if you're in home, like, there's a level of safety and security that these players are probably like, I don't feel safe playing out there. You don't know what that type of crazy's out here too. So listen, they might talk about it. It's going to happen, but they need a better plan to deal with it, up to and including removing these individuals. Like, I get it wasn't outwardly. And when I say outwardly, I mean, like, she wasn't holding up a sign with any type of racial slur on it. But I mean, shit, the tones were there. So, I mean, I don't know if there was building security that could have removed her or said, hey, maybe take that stuff off if you want to stay. But there has to be something, again, unified to help combat this. Now, look, in the privacy of everybody in their own social media, people are going to say and do what they're going to do. I mean, and to that point, what you just said, ignore it. Don't even bring it up unless it gets threatening. Then quietly get the police involved and go from there. Or if you want to get on your platform and talk about it too. But I mean, the unfortunate reality is we live in a digital age where, I mean, just short of you not being on social media, nothing's going to truly go away.
Yeah, they couldn't survive those early Modern Warfare 2 Xbox One game chats.
Oh my God. Holy moly, no way.